It's just fake falling, that fake falling to our chair. All right, so we are back from the movie. And we want to do a review right away. And decided let's do it with spoilers. And I'll hold off on this review after a couple of days so that, you know, more people have seen it. And boom, this is spoiler heavy. So if you're going to continue on and you don't want to know, I would say go watch all of our other videos.
That's right.
You know that there's been a lot of mixed anticipation from us. And I kind of got Lulu bought into that hype. And just questioning, like, is it going to be good or is it not going to be good? End result is...
It's so good! For me,
it was good too!
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised!
Oh.
I had a good time. I think that is it. Just the bottom line, I had a good time.
Right, there's no down where you're like, okay, this is so boring. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of things didn't make sense still, Lulu. One thing, you know, I will say, and I knew this going in, that you will enjoy this either way. And that is, you know, I think J.J. Abrams as a director, I think he's a great director in the sense that he knows how to keep a movie moving along really fast. He's good at, like, the action scenes. He's good at just keeping things so there's no time to think about the deeper plot points. Right. It's not really his fault in the fact that he has to kind of wrap everything together with a lot of storylines that, quite frankly, were going to lead to a lot of dead ends, I think. But at the end of the day, it did fit together nicely and it felt like it was a fun ride. But I can totally see why so many people who have reviewed this early, especially the movie critics, especially all those fans who grew up with Star Wars from the very beginning, 40 years of their life culminating to this moment.
Right.
And I can see why so many people feel like this was derivative, that it was the same beats again and again, a photocopy of a photocopy. Probably some of the more glaring issues, if you really think about it, is some of the plot points that were raised before. They just threw it out the window and just acted like it doesn't matter. If you had to think about it that hard, quite frankly, I feel like you're going to end up hating this movie. I think you're going to hate it, and I get why.
Wow. Now I appreciate my cluelessness.
Yes, and that's why. At the end of the day, your cluelessness is why you can enjoy a movie like this.
Exactly. There's a good side of being clueless. Because I
hate to encourage this type of mentality, but
that's true.
Yes, I think it helps to not to get too caught up from the past, but to at least get emotionally invested enough in these characters. At least, you know, Ray's story, which I felt like it was satisfying to watch it all come together.
For me, yeah, with Ray's story, this is my favorite. I just feel like I know them already. I know each character and I can relate to them. And so that's probably why I just love it. I was crying the whole time. I thought Chewbacca died. So sad. Kylo died.
I think the reason why I enjoy this so much is because there's been so many highs and lows over this year in terms of things culminating. We had the culmination, the end, Marvel's, you know, 10-year run.
Right.
Which was so satisfying. And then we had the end of Game of Thrones' 8-year run. And it was so horrible. It was the theme of nightmares that literally left me questioning, will I ever follow another series like this again?
Right.
And so with that now firmly planted as the best possible ending and the worst possible, I kind of felt like I was ready for a scenario that could have gone either way. In other words, I was expecting something that was more Game of Thrones bad. Because my expectation was lower that far over at this point, this turned out to be an absolute delight when I didn't think too much about it. Enough was wrapped up nicely that I could enjoy it. I actually thought they were going to just make it so absolutely bad throughout every possible plot point that was just like from who knows where. Yeah. And you know what? It is derivative. But I will say that I come to expect it at this point, given the last two movies follow such derivative beats as well, right? It's like a bigger and better Death Star. No, even bigger, better Death Star. This one is like, no, every ship is a Death Star. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. And that's where you want to go with it, right? It's like every possible scenario just amped up to level 11. Right? Every ship's a Death Star. Palpatine becoming a Death Star himself. Shit. I'm like, come on now. But you know what? I didn't think about it. I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy it. And it was satisfying.
It was very satisfying. Seeing the old people, seeing the old characters in this one and gather everyone. Kind of like, oh my god, it feels so good. Like, oh my god, they're all united and all that stuff. Like, I feel like I'm a hardcore fan, but...
You literally just define yourself as almost clueless and don't remember anything from before. You cannot call yourself hardcore.
No, I didn't call that. I was feeling, okay?
I think the hardcore fans are feeling something very different.
I know. They're
very,
not happy.
very. Although I have to admit, some of the key characters that I felt like I would actually feel very attached to and care about their passing, I honestly just didn't care. It just happened too fast. Didn't seem to matter to me. Like Leia just like, all right, I'm gonna go die now. And then, you know, Kylo, okay, bye-bye. It's like, there's no emotional weight, right? Especially after 3 movies, Kylo's journey felt like it should have a lot more emotional weight. The payoff for him was terrible, I thought. I thought Rey made up for it, but Kylo was really the most conflicted character. You really wanted him to feel like, how would you say, like going down in a blaze of glory at least, right? Going down in a way that felt like he was redemption. And in many ways, it didn't feel like I didn't get that. And Princess Leia, like after all the things that, you know, she's been through and really the last true Skywalker, it just felt like I didn't care about her passing either. Like it just didn't matter.
Really? I was crying. Like even
I know, like I said, you're easy to get riled up crying. Just like anyone could pass it over. You'll cry if she had heartburn and was out for like half the movie. I'm like, oh, heartburn from that chili dog I ate. Oh. But like I said, it moves along so fast. You just kind of like go, all right, well, next thing, and next thing.
I relate it to the real world. She died. So for me, seeing her in that movie was almost, I got so emotional.
Oh, okay. So you were crying because you were reminded of how she had actually passed in real life. She
passed away in real life.
Yeah, okay, exactly. I can see that. I can see that.
So seeing them with Rey and Poe and Finn, it was very, very emotional to me. Watching them.
I can see. Oh, you know what? Shoot, you guys aren't seeing my Star Wars shirt.
Exactly. What's going on? What's going on?
Oh my God. Hey, hello. My Star Wars nipples. I totally get why fanboys think that this was derivative. I mean, at this point, how many endings do we need of Star Wars where there's a galactic battle in the sky while also a battle on the ground that has to do with lightsaber battle?
How would you
it's always
make
the same
it different?
thing.
How would you make it different? That's how Star Wars is.
You make it like Empire Strikes Back. Totally different. You can do a lot with that. But I understand why they went this way. I know how they want to wrap everything together, right? It's the way it started and the way it ended. It feels like it's complete. Like there isn't anything more that needs to be told regarding this saga. So that's it. I think, you know, it's satisfying sort of conclusion. Now, that being said, I'm done with Star Wars. That's it. And what I mean by I'm done with Star Wars, I'm talking about like the movies as a child I enjoyed, and then as an adult getting work on the Star Wars brand, and actually even working on parts of you know, the games, the multimedia, and all the different stuff that I did on mobile when Revenge of the Sith came out, and I'm done. Like at this point, I don't feel like there could be anything that they could do to bring me back into Star Wars again in a way like I did growing up with the nostalgia of everything. If it's a new story, great. Whole new everything in this universe, great. But I feel like it's just run its course. There isn't anything interesting left to be told.
All right.
I guess you could say that even though I'm satisfied, I am disappointed that as a Star Wars fan, this is the way it's ending for me.
There you go. That's your review, John.
That's right.
I love the movie. I enjoyed it. Love, 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 love it. Watch it again.
It'll be on Disney Plus in a couple months. You can watch as many times as you want. By yourself. I'm done.
I like it. I like that they kissed together.